quick what my plan overall is looking like so far. It's sort of looking like this. I have it all taped up on this board here. Okay, so pottery. If we are going to break that down into 3 main steps, it's going to be, first of all, if you're doing it on the wheel, you're going to have your basic form, your basic shape that you create on the wheel. That's number 1. And then you're going to let that sort of dry for a little bit until it's like just, has its own shape, but it's still malleable. And then you're going to put it back on the wheel and you're going to trim. That's number 2. And then you are going to let that dry fully before you fire it. Okay, 4 main steps then. Fire it. Bisque fire. That's the first firing. And then we're going to glaze it and fire it again. So in my head, I'm thinking about basic shape, trimming, and glaze. Obviously, it's a bit more complicated than that, but that's like the 3 main steps. And keeping that in mind, that is how I am sort of making this timeline. Week 1 and week 2 are kind of over already because I already had those 2 classes, which were introductions for us, where the teacher explains to us what this project is all about, and then our personal planning and sort of presenting that to our teacher and sort of getting their approval. Now we are sort of in between week 2 and week 3, and I have a bunch of things that I want to get done before the class of week 3. And one of those is buying this guy here. This is a Cricut Joy, I believe, the smaller version. With this, I'm going to make stencils. That's going to be for our glazing step, which is going to come kind of later. So I'm not going to use it like right away, right now, but I wanted to buy it beforehand just so that I have it already. And then I can sort of experiment with it and see exactly what I can do with it, so that I don't have to do that right before the glazing process and have a bunch of like possible or like potential mess ups and stuff like that. So I have that, and I'm going to unbox it today and see what it's all about, see if I can do anything with it. Number 2, I'm going to buy vinegar and baking soda. I'll put a couple pictures or videos up here so you can kind of get like the gist of what I'm talking about. But basically, if you take a piece that is still in its greenware phase, which is like before you fire it, and then you pour baking soda on top, and then you spray or pour vinegar back on top of it, and what it does is it has like this chemical reaction and it creates these bubbles. And I really love like natural texture and stuff like that. All of these things that I'm trying out for during this project are things that I have never done before, and sort of skills that I want to acquire. That's kind of like the concept that I have. I should probably tell you about that. The overarching goal for this class is to set a goal and sort of overcome it, do even more than that, right? My sort of 2 goals, I guess, that I've set for myself is the 200 pieces, which I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do that. 200 individual pieces that will be sort of split off into different techniques that I want to try. And I guess a sub goal that I don't exactly have to do, but I do want to do, is to work on my brand and potentially find a style that sort of suits me, that is like, this is what I do sort of thing. That can't be forced, so I didn't really set that as a concrete goal this time. I think that's just something that comes with time, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something like a side goal that if it happens, I'll be happy, but if not, that's okay. I'm sort of a little bit overwhelmed just because there's like so many things that I want to try, but I'm going to do as many as I can, and hopefully I'll be a better potter at the end of this 5 weeks. So yeah. Now you're going to see this as I'm working on stuff, but a lot of the sort of like techniques that I want to try out are like, for example, just something that I want to try with glaze, and not exactly something that I want to try with the actual form of the piece. So for those, I'm just gonna not focus too much on how the piece is actually like the body of the piece, you know what I'm saying? So to start out, I'm probably going to just make like a bunch of maybe medium to smaller sized pieces on the wheel so that I can focus on the glaze part, you know? If I focus too much on the sort of shape of what I'm making on the wheel, it's just going to take way too much time, and that's just time that's going to be wasted that I can think about other things. So the first thing that I'm going to do once I ordered clay beforehand, once that clay arrives, that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm just going to make a bunch of stuff on the wheel and have that on the side drying so that I can have it later for when I need it. Because a lot of this stuff is also things that I want to try out while trimming, not exactly the form itself. So, again, this is very much like oversimplifying what I'm thinking just because for some of these, I have a shape in mind that I want to trim it down to, but to do that, I'm going to have to make it a certain shape, you know? So I will be thinking about that, but I do not have the time to sort of explain all of that to you right now because it's 200 pieces that I'm trying to make. So I will explain that to you as I'm working on it. You will see this in future vlogs, but yeah. So something to keep in mind, something that I just want to verbalize so that I have that in my head. These are going to be including piping clay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some clay, water it down a bunch, and then put it into a piping bag and pipe out like flowers or just like designs and stuff like that. The thing is, I've done this before. I have just piped out like small flowers and attached it to like bowls and stuff like that. But what I want to do is sort of take that a step further and do things that are not just like one or two flowers on a piece, you know? I want to do something a little bit more intricate and thought out. So that's something. And I've set a goal of 10 pieces for that. Another is experimenting with a unique foot on a piece. So that's a little bit more simple, where I can just make sort of like pretty basic forms and just focus on having the foot trimmed to be a pretty unique shape that I've hopefully never seen before. So yeah, that's another, and I've set that for 30. So I'm going to do 30 of those. And then another one is I've seen a lot of people make two wheel thrown forms and sort of like smush them together to make one unique thing. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make 10 of those, which means I need to make 20 sort of smaller forms and then smush those together. And it could be more, because what if I want to do 3 that are sort of smushed together, or 4, you know? So actually what I've done is I have written on a piece of paper, always make extra, and I'm going to put that on my wooden board up there so that I never forget. By this Friday, hopefully my clay arrives at school, so I can start making those basic forms. And yes, so I hope that at least half of them, meaning about 100 of them, are done by Friday. So which means, right, once, how many was that again? Actually, I don't think oh no, I did. Okay, so 20 of those are going to be for the vinegar and baking soda sort of technique. So at the very, very least, I need 20 of them done and partially dried. Actually, I'm not sure if I need to have it like bone dry, or maybe just like slightly before bone dry, like in between bone dry and leather hard. So trim it down and let it dry for a bit before I can pour that baking soda and vinegar on there. And I'm gonna have those done this week. Hopefully more than that, actually, because who knows, they might crack in the kiln or stuff like that along the way. So these numbers that I've set for myself are how many that I want done, like completely finalized by the time that I'm supposed to present this project. So that I need to be accounting for possible cracks, breaking, and throwing away. So by the end of week 4, I want to get done the piping pieces, the unique foot pieces. I want to do the 2-in-1 pieces. That there's a possibility that I might not get done by week 4, but it's okay. And then I want to do, I believe it's called kiritori, but so those are not on the wheel. Those are hand thrown or hand builded and then cut off sort of like in a rock formation sort of way. I want to get 20 of those done by week 4. And then if I do that, okay, let me sort of backtrack and correct something that I said before. By week 4, I want to have all of the sort of basic pieces or basic forms finished, all 200. Because from week 5 to week 6, and hopefully done by week 6, but maybe bleeding into week 7, I want to focus on the glazing part. Because on week 7 is the presentation day, and I have to actually make the presentation, and that's going to be a lot of work. So I need to get all of this done as quickly as possible. From week 5, I'm going into the glazing process. So everything needs to be bisque fired. If not, then while I'm working on some of the glazing pieces, the others are being bisque fired. So for what I want to do for sort of like the glaze focused pieces is the underglaze pencil that I bought a couple days ago that I forgot to bring with me today that I'm just realizing right now, but I'm going to bring it at another time. And actually I have a couple pieces at home that are just bisque fired that I haven't done anything to, so I might just do like some doodles on those, like whatever I want, because those are probably not going to be part of this project, but I want to get them done, so I'll probably test out the underglaze pencil on those and see how it works, which actually is great because then I don't have to test on new pieces. So, and then another thing, this guy is going to make some stencils for me, and I want to do 50 stencil focused pieces, and then another 50, maybe 40-ish are going to be sort of just experimenting with layering glaze and trying to see if I can make some fun colors, because it would be fun to make my own glazes too. So yeah, and somehow that is going to add up to 200. It's a lot. Might end up being overwhelmed during the process, but I'm excited. It's going to be really fun. I just talked for a lot, so I'm going to drink my milk tea and have this cheesecake, and then we're going to unbox the Cricut. Let's open this bad boy up. There's the films. And there it is. So it opens up like this. Right there. Lucky me, there's actually an outlet right there. This is where I am. So I'm connecting it to the app right now. I think it's working, giving me affirmations. Yay! I think it's done. Free trial? No. All you need, oh, the silver sheet! Continue. Insert the sheet under the guides until it reaches the rollers. This under the guides? Whoa. Ready to go. Tap to begin cutting. Oh my god. There it goes. Wait, it's a lot quieter than I thought it was gonna be. This is great. Look at him go. Okay, tap unload. It cut out Cricket. Okay, now I should be able to peel this off. Okay, maybe I have to be a bit more careful with this. There we go. It's on there now. So it seems like now I can just start designing. So you can really adjust the size and everything, it looks like. Let's do... I'm kind of playing around with the app here. And I'm sort of, it's not really working. So I'm gonna have to just try it out in a bunch of different ways and see what does work. But, you know, I'll let you know when it does. It's not like I have to use it right away, which is why I got it early. So, it's fine. I'm just gonna have to try and work it out. But, yeah. I'm gonna... Last thing I want to do today is go downstairs and see if my clay has been delivered. If not, I'll just have to wait a little bit longer. But let's go see. Okay, I just went to check and apparently it'll probably be a couple more days, so it's fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to wait until the clay comes. I asked one of the people downstairs who are like running the kiln and stuff when the clay should arrive, and he said earliest probably by next week. So yeah, I might have to sort of change some of my plans. The thing is, I don't remember if the clay that I was using last school year, if I still have any of that. So I'm gonna come back tomorrow because I have a class tomorrow, like a different class. So and that's in the morning. So after that, I'm gonna come back and see if any of my clay is still here somewhere. If not, I'm just gonna have to wait, and I guess I'll focus on the stencils, try and get that to work and have all of that ready ahead of time. If not, oh yeah, something that I really want to do is make a stamp with my sort of little logo on it. So yeah, I'll make that in the meantime. But that's essentially everything that I wanted to go over in this video before I actually start really getting into the heavy work of it all. So yeah, so that's all for now. I'll keep updating you guys in these vlogs about everything that I'm doing and everything that'll probably go wrong along the way. Yeah, so stay tuned. See you next week.